Y'all watched the debates last night? Did you see what this traitor did last night? They asked, would any of you support Donald Trump if he became the Republican nominee? And Ron DeSantis looked side to side to see which way the wind was blowing before he raised his hand. That's how you know he's not a man, and he's definitely not a man that can be trusted with your vote. If you have to look side to side to see which way the wind is blowing before you raise your hand, you're not a man that stands on anything. You go where the wind is blowing, and we don't need another career politician to get in office lying to us.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Somebody needs to send the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro this video that I'm about to make, because I think that this video right here is going to be a thorough explanation of why Ron DeSantis in his campaign is falling apart, because the guy just misses layups, right? He just misses layups. And at this point, it's just embarrassing. And I want to say this before I get into it. I like Ron DeSantis, okay? I'm frustrated with Ron. The reason why I'm frustrated with Ron is despite the fact that he was a great governor, okay? I've been supporting Ron for a long time, okay? When the Republicans were attacking him and the Democrats were attacking him over the slavery thing, I supported him. I supported him through Don't Say Gay. I supported him through Disney. I supported him when it came to the lockdowns and him, pushing back against the vaccine stuff. I have supported Ron DeSantis thoroughly as the governor of Florida, okay? I've been one of his biggest cheerleaders. So I don't want nobody coming up here trying to say that, well, I just hate DeSantis because I like Trump. No. I want Ron DeSantis to have a political career, right? I want to see Ron DeSantis in the GOP. I'm just disappointed in the guy. And the reason why I'm disappointed in the guy is just clearly, he's not as politically savvy as I thought that he was, okay? It seems like outside of the bubble of Florida, the guy is just falling apart, okay? And I want to go ahead and play a video in which Ron DeSantis, like I said, he misses a layup. I don't understand who's advising this guy, but he basically has an opportunity to redeem himself from, in my opinion, a very telling and revealing moment. It happened twice during the debate in which Ron DeSantis was pressured to take a position on a tough question. One of the questions really wasn't tough at all. The one that I'm focusing on here in this video is when it comes to him supporting Trump if Trump gets convicted, right? Will he still support Trump? Now, Ron DeSantis infamously looked around left to right to see who will raise their hands before actually raising his hands, not even up high, right? As if he was sure to answer, but, a little bit, because clearly he was timid to actually answer the question. We all know what his real answer is. You would think the guy would be politically savvy enough to clearly correct this issue that he has when it comes to not being able to take a definitive stance on certain issues that are tough. But no, because he was asked once again, would he support Trump if Trump is convicted, right? If Trump is convicted, would he support Trump as the nominee? And he once again lays an egg. Take a look.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would. Just hold on. So just to be clear, Governor Christie, you were kind of late to the game there, but you raised your hand?
No, I'm doing.
Governor, what do you think about this split screen of you here in the Field of Dreams and former President Trump being arrested in Georgia?
Well, I'm glad I'm at the Field of Dreams. I'm happy to be here.
You seemed to hesitate before raising your hand to commit to backing Trump.
And it wasn't because of that. I signed that pledge. I will follow the pledge. 100%. I objected to doing the hand raise, and I thought most of the candidates seemed to agree with me And so I was like, okay, are we really doing this? And people were doing it. So I made the pledge. I will follow through with the pledge. I don't sign pledges and not follow through. I don't think he would be the nominee at that point, but I signed the pledge, and that's just the reality of the situation.
Wow. Wow. Yo, it's getting comical at this point. It really is. I cannot believe for the life of me that this man is paying advisors, consultants, millions of dollars to tell him how to tank his campaign, right? Because this guy can't even get the most basic thing right. He can't even get easy layups. I'm sorry. This is a layup, son. This is a layup. All he had to do is come out here and say, yes, I will support Trump even if he's convicted. I'm going to stand behind the nominee no matter who it is. That's it, right? That's it, bro. But no. It's this defensive reaction, okay, where he's clearly defensive about it, right? Because I know how he really feels. I mean he can't hide it, okay? I think Ron DeSantis has a terrible poker face, right? He has a terrible poker face. I know how you really feel, and he comes out here and he throws in this thing that, again, makes me now have a lot of questions, okay, about what the GOP plans on doing behind the scenes or what's going to happen, okay, where he says, well, if Trump is convicted, then I don't think that he would be the nominee. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? What do you mean if Trump is convicted, you don't think he'd be a nominee? Because there's nothing about a conviction that would stop Trump from being a nominee if he wins the Republican primary, right? Primary voters, as long as he's still on the ballot, should be able to vote for him. And if they vote for him, if he's the guy that the Republican Party wants, that the voters want, then even if he's convicted, what do you mean he wouldn't be the nominee? He got to expand on that, right? You got to expand on that, because to me, it sounds like he's saying one or two things, right? The most benign thing that he might be saying is that, well, if Trump is convicted, then voters won't vote for him, right? Then voters are going to, say, hey, you know what, this is too much. They'll vote for somebody else, right? Maybe him, okay? Which, in my opinion, if he really truly believes that, he's not in touch with reality, okay, of the Republican Party and the voters, okay? If he's convicted, that's going to make people vote for him even more, okay? I'm not sure Ron DeSantis is in touch with reality if he actually believes that, okay? But again, that's the most benign explanation. The second explanation is if Ron DeSantis is saying that, well, if Trump is convicted, then that means that somehow, some way, he will be ineligible. Like, he won't be able to actually run. He will be disqualified, okay? There would be no option for him to actually be the nominee. I'm not sure exactly which one he means, but he really does need to elaborate on that, right? He needs to elaborate on what does he mean by, if Trump is convicted, then you don't think he will be the nominee. I'm trying to figure out why he even said it, right? Why did you even say it? Again, that's what bothers me, because you have people like a lot of the cats at the Daily Wire who I respect, who I admire, right? Who I like. Okay, I like all of them. But just listening to them analyze why Ron DeSantis is losing, it's just so mind-numbing, because I'm like, clearly y'all are just as clueless as Ron DeSantis. Because just look at the contrast between how Ron DeSantis answers this question, okay, when asked again about it, and how Vivek Ramaswamy answers the question when asked about supporting Trump if he's nominee and also pardoning Trump. Take a look.
Next guest says if he is elected president, he will pardon Donald Trump. GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy joins us now. Good morning, Vivek.
So I do think we're skating on thin ice as a country right now, Ainsley. And my top goal as U.S. president is to reunite this country. I still believe that's possible. I don't think we're working with a lot of time here. If my two sons, who are toddlers now, if they graduate from 12th grade before we fix this, I genuinely worry we will not have a country left. That is what gives me my sense of urgency, and that is why I have been so clear, despite being a competitor to Donald Trump in this primary. I have been crystal clear that, yes, I will pardon him of any federal crime of which I'm able to. And the reason why is that is a precondition for moving our nation forward. We cannot turn into a banana republic where the party in power uses police force to indict and arrest its political opponents in the middle of an election. That is not how we do it in the United States of America. And if there's one principle we should all be able to unite around, Whether or not you disagree with the president, it is we the people who select the president, not the federal administrative police state. And that's why I've been so clear on this issue.
Crystal clear, right? Crystal clear. I have no questions in my mind what this man believes, right? Because when asked about his belief, he sticks his hands up immediately, okay? When it came to this issue of Trump and supporting him if he's a nominee, pardoning him, yeah, I'm gonna do that, right? I believe that. Okay, when it came to the funding of Ukraine, when they say, hey, who's going to not fund Ukraine anymore? Who won't send any more money to Ukraine? Yeah, I'm not going to. On both of those issues, Ron is, again, he's being timid. And then when given an opportunity to correct what is clearly a screw up, right, he fumbles again. You fumbling again. And it's like, bro, you are too good of a politician for this, okay? And this is not even one of those things. It's not about, oh, well, he just needs to go out here and say what people want to hear. It's not even about that, because particularly when it comes to this issue of Trump and the pardons, right? I mean, we're talking about a politically motivated witch hunt. Okay, this is what got Ron DeSantis in trouble in the first place. This is actually what started his free fall in the polls. When Trump first got indicted, I think particularly down there in Florida, when it came to the Mar-a-Lago documents case, okay, the one down there in Florida, he did not come out unequivocally and say, hey, we got to stand up for this. We won't tolerate this. I'm going to do whatever I can to try to help the former president of the United States. Instead, he got in his feelings about the fact that he's butthurt about Trump attacking him, which I understand, I get, right? And he didn't take a stance. At this moment, you got to put aside your feelings and say, okay, well, this is about the future of the country, right? This is about the fact that we're setting a dangerous precedent by prosecuting and persecuting a former president because of a political witch hunt on trumped up charges that they would not levy against anybody else. Any other politician that's a Democrat will be able to get away with it. Because trust and believe, Ron, the mainstream liberal media and the Democrats hate you almost as much as they hate Trump. So who's to say they won't do the same thing to you, or they won't attempt to do the same thing to you? And that's the thing that bothers me about these people. It's almost like they don't even care about their own political careers, right? If Ron DeSantis cared about his own political career, one, he would stand up to this, and then two, he would actually come out here and say the right thing, okay, so that he can save his career. Because the way that he's continuing to go right now, he might not have a career, right? He's destroying himself. And it shouldn't be that way because he has been a very successful governor. But if you don't actually support him, then stand on that and say, hey, I don't support him, right? I'm not going to support him if he's convicted. If you will support him if he's convicted, then stand on that. This halfway thing is just, it's a terrible look, right? At least if you take a solid stance, people can be mad at it, right? But people can't say that you are, you know, that you're timid about it, okay? I really want to say something else, that you're kitty cat. People can't say you're kitty cat about it, right? This halfway stuff is worse than just saying, you know what, I don't want to support the guy. If he gets convicted, I hope he gets thrown in jail. It's worse to be halfway about it because that means, in my opinion, it shows that, hey, your support is fake, right? Your support is fake. At least I can be able to tell that it's fake. You know, I don't like the fact that Krispy Kreme obviously wants Trump thrown in jail, but at the very least, I can say, hey, I know his stance on it. I know his stance on it. It ain't no halfway stuff. He ain't kitty cat about it, right? He telling you exactly what he think and exactly what he feel. Now, here's the thing. I do believe that Ron is getting, you know, a lot of credit, even though he was the governor of a state that had a solid red legislator, in the sense that he can basically do whatever he wants. So he hasn't had much pushback. But the way he's acting right now, he's not convincing me that if he's in the White House, he's going to fight hard when things are not in his favor, right? Like, for example, if the Senate and the House is not a vast majority Republican, or if it's not a supermajority, how are you going to get things done when you have Democrats pushing back against you? I'm not convinced, based off Ron's campaigning, that he can operate in an environment where he doesn't have everything in his corner. Because that's what he's doing in Florida. In Florida, he's great as governor. He looks amazing. because everything is set up for his advantage. But now that he's took the national stage and things aren't to his advantage, he's not on his own home field, he's falling apart. And that's what everybody was questioning about Ron DeSantis, is that, okay, well, how are you going to operate when everything is not going your way? When you don't have an overwhelmingly Republican legislator, how are you going to operate? If this is any indication of how Ron DeSantis is going to operate in the face of adversity, it's not looking good, man. He's not looking good. But for some reason, again, these very, very, very salty Daily Wire, they can't figure out why. Oh, well, it got to be because Vivek is just saying whatever people want him to say, and people are forgetting about the fact that Ron actually got things done, and he has a proven track record. Yeah, he has a proven track record. Again, in a state where everything overwhelmingly goes his way, where he's damn near a dictator because anything he wants, he gets because he has the legislative power, or he has the legislator behind him. But when he does not have that, is he proven? No, he's actually not proven, right? I mean, you could argue that the man wouldn't be governor without a Trump endorsement. If it wasn't for Trump saving him during his initial run, maybe he wouldn't be governor. If it wasn't for him essentially copying and taking a lot of Trump's mannerisms and essentially trying to be a lighter version of Trump as governor, maybe he wouldn't be in this position. Maybe he wouldn't be as popular. You could make these arguments. And the thing is, the reason why I'm being hard on him is because I saw what he can do in Florida. I think he's a good governor. I think his heart is in the right place, but he's just not campaigning well. It's so bad now where it's like, bro, you might ruin your political career. You might be unelectable after this. And I don't want that to happen, right? Because I want good, smart people leading this country, right? This is why I'm so frustrated. But again, as long as you got people in his ear telling him, no, it's not your fault, right? It's everybody else's fault. It's Vivek Ramaswamy's fault. He's saying whatever voters want to hear, right? It's not your fault. I don't see anything changing. It blows my mind that this man has people that he's paying millions of dollars who can't even correct simple issues like this. Right? It's frustrating because low key, I'm rude. I already told you guys, I'm cool with Trump presidency. I'm cool with a DeSantis presidency. I'm cool with a Vivek Ramaswamy. I think all these guys are good. I think all these guys have pros and cons. But when I see DeSantis faltering like this, missing layups, it's just, I'm just disappointed because he can do better than this. He can do better than this. He needs to fire whoever's advising him at this point, right? He needs to fire whoever's advising him at this point and find some new advisors who actually can, who understands, politics, right? Who understands the current state of what people want to see from him. Because this ain't it, right? This is not it. If he keeps going like this, he's going to get blown out in Florida, in his own state. And that's going to be embarrassing. It really is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share. A Black conservative perspective. Peace.